Hello friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. Today's video is another ranking. I'm gonna be ranking my last 10 palettes that I tried out, and I am so excited. I always love doing these rankings and these little recaps on my thoughts and what I'm feeling, what do I like more than others and why. You guys always seem to enjoy it as well. I always love hearing your thoughts because maybe you're obsessed with whatever I rank lower, and maybe my favorite thing isn't your favorite thing, and that's fine because we all have different opinions, and that's what makes makeup fun. This is just me sharing my thoughts and opinions on what I've tried recently. I did, at the very end of August, rank all the palettes I've tried so far this year, so if you want to see the full ranking before these palettes that I'm going to talk about, you can go check out that video as well. And of course, by the very end of this year, I will be ranking all of the palettes I tried in 2024, but for now, these are just the last 10 that I tested out, and I'm excited to share it with you. As always, I initially got this video idea from Annette's Makeup Corner. I'll have her channel down below for you. And as far as my accessory details today go, I believe these earrings are from Primark, and I think this choker is from Shop Sun & Co. Also, I did of course film this look. It should already be up on my Instagram and YouTube Shorts by the time this video goes up. And now, without further ado, let's hop in and rank these 10 palettes. Oh my goodness. This was kind of hard, but also not that hard. I feel like I actually came to my conclusions pretty quick with this roundup, but I gotta say, again, none of these were bad. I say this in every video, but just to reiterate in case you're new, I'm kind of picky with what I'm willing to try. I don't set out to try things thinking I'm not gonna like it. I try to only use things that I think I'm genuinely gonna enjoy and I think will genuinely add something to my collection. So because of that, it's very hard for me to sometimes rank things low because it doesn't even mean it's bad. It just means I like some things more than others. In this case, there were some major hits and then some that were just kind of mid for me. And also, as always, if you think I'm forgetting a palette, I promise you I'm not. I either talked about it in the last ranking, I haven't tried it yet, and it'll be in the next ranking, or you're just simply mistaken and I don't have it. But now let's just kick it off with number 10. Number 10, I'm giving to the What's Up Beauty Desert Monsoon. The brand recently came out with a new face primer and included this palette that I did not have in my package. She is pretty cute. I like the vibes. The inside is kind of a half neutral, half colorful. I really enjoy the formulas from What's Up Beauty. I feel like the mattes are pigmented and they blend out really easy. I feel like they're not too much too fast. I never have issues with blending, and the shimmers are always really pretty and metallic on the lids. I really don't have anything negative to say about the formula. It's just, I don't know, something about this color story just didn't speak to me as much as maybe some of the other things going forward. I'm not so much of a neutral girl, and even though like there's definitely color in here, don't get me wrong, especially some shades that I really enjoy like this is one of my favorite colors on the entire planet, but really there is a lot of neutral heaviness going on. So for me, this just isn't gonna be the first thing I reach for. I don't not play with neutrals, but if I am gonna reach for neutrals, this probably wouldn't even be the first palette I'd reach for. And like a half neutral, half colorful look isn't always my go-to either. Again, it's really not a bad palette. I just think it's not my perfect palette. So for that reason, I ranked this one number 9. Everything else just has either formulas or a color story or a theme that I'm vibing with more. So that's why this one landed 10th. And by the way, I have played with all of these palettes in a lot of cases multiple times. You can check my YouTube, you can check my Instagram for all the inspo. And also, of course, I will have all of these palettes linked down below, as well as any discount codes if I have any. Ranked number 9, I'm giving to the NYX and Beetlejuice palette, the, what are you called? Color for the Recently Deceased. I picked this up when I saw it at Target. I mean, I love a Beetlejuice theme. Beetlejuice is one of my favorite things ever, and I did think this was a fun idea. I will say though, the more I've used this, the more it doesn't scream Beetlejuice to me. Like, it still has Beetlejuice essence, but it's not as in your face as some of the other Beetlejuicy themed things I've used. I still think it's very cute, but I don't know. As far as Beetlejuice themed palettes goes, this one just probably isn't gonna end up being my favorite. The formulas were fine. It wasn't anything that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a formula I've been sleeping on, because I haven't used a NYX eyeshadow palette and I can't even remember. It's been minimum years. So I just haven't been touching NYX eyeshadows for whatever reason. And it's not a formula that I'm necessarily like, oh my gosh, hidden gem, I need more of this. Like, it was fine. Similar to like ColourPop, where it's like, nothing that's blowing me away, but like it performed, you know. The pigmentation was there, the shimmers were pretty, but it just wasn't anything I'm obsessed with. The main reason I ranked this one over the one I just talked about is just because I am a sucker for a Beetlejuice theme and I am vibing with these colors more. But at the end of the day, everything else just kind of stood out to me a little bit more. These two were kind of the ones that maybe I could have lived without. Everything else in this video, I'm pretty darn happy with. Moving on to number 8 is the Rust palette from Melt Cosmetics. I'm so happy to have this in my collection now. My friend Linda from Glitter Fallout, you should check her out if you have not. She acquired an extra one and she was so sweet and kind and gifted it to me, and I'm so thankful. I have so many Melt palettes right there, and I'm so happy to add another one to my collection. I've thought about adding this one into my collection for so long and just hadn't gotten around to it, but it is a fall dream. It is perfect, like rusty oranges and sunflower yellows. It is so stinking cute, and I feel like some people just lump this in with another basic neutral palette, but for me, it's just more than that. Like, it has those grungy, rusty tones, those spicy kind of shades. I really, really like this one. I think it's lovely. I really enjoy Melt. I've yet to meet a Melt eyeshadow formula that I don't like. Some of the palettes have screamed to me more than others as far as color story goes, but overall, I just love the way they perform. The mattes are so pigmented and lovely, and everything can always be so grungified, which I appreciate. It's all so just dingy and lovely and pigmented, and I love, and I'm so happy to add this one to my collection. I only didn't rank this one higher just because everything else does stand out to me a little bit more, but I'm so thrilled with this. I'm so happy to have this one. Thank you again, Linda, if you happen to watch this video. Moving on to number 7, in the same realm. I have another Melt palette. I have the Fatally Yours palette. I recently, over the last like month or so, I don't know, I did a little shopping on Melt's site when they were having a bunch of sales. So I grabbed like this palette, some lipsticks. It was a fun time, and I'm so happy I have this palette now. It's so pretty. I didn't buy this back when it launched in December just because I was going through life things and it just did not take priority, but I'm so happy that it's joining the mix now. I think these colors are so good again. We have kind of one of my favorite colors on the planet shining through in this palette. We have so many grungy like teals and warm, yummy oranges and browns. I love this like eggplant shade. It's so pretty. It is an all matte palette. I am someone that does prefer shimmer. I don't do an all matte look very often. So almost always I'm going to be incorporating another existing shimmer into my looks with this, but I am super happy that this exists in my collection now. I think it is so, so pretty. And as much as I love this color story, everything else going forward does have that mixture of sparkle and matte that I prefer. So this one didn't make it up any higher, but I'm so, so happy I gifted this to myself. Moving on to number 6, I'm giving it to the newest Oden's Eye palette. This is the Eternal Twilight. It's kind of like a shadow and light sort of opposites attract kind of theme. This is their first like mega palette. I will say there's like quite a bit of like blank space. I do feel like the palette itself could have been sized smaller and still been the same palette, but that's just me. It's very cute though. Again, we have kind of that opposites attract with the light and then the shadow. It's very, very cool. Kind of a pinky orange meets a gray, bluey purple. It's so cool. I'm really into these marbled shadows that are in here. They're so dimensional on the lids. I think everything performs so well. I am a big fan of Oden's eyeshadows. I have been since the beginning, and I feel like all they've done is improve over the years. I think this is so fun. It's very creative. You can definitely break it up in your mind into 2 different color stories if you have trouble kind of mixing and matching contrasting shades, or you can mix everything together. It's all very fun. I think everything performed beautifully. I really enjoyed the looks I got out of this palette, and I thought this was a lot of fun. But the top 5 palettes really were just so good. Like, the themes are on point, the color stories, the formulas, everything was so amazing. So as much as I am enjoying this palette, the top 5 just could not be beat this time, so that's where this one lands. All right, moving on to the top 5. In some cases, this was kind of hard to pick the order of. I was very certain on what 1 and 2 were gonna be, but 3, 4, and 5, I kind of rearranged a few times until I landed where I did. So just know that basically 3, 4, and 5 are kind of tied. It was very, very difficult, but let's get into them. Number 5, I'm giving to the newest collab palette between Fantasy Cosmetica and my friend Amanda from Makeup Just for Fun. So happy for her. She is the light of my life, and I'm so happy to have her collab in my hands. I've known about this for so many months now, and I'm so happy that this has been brought to fruition. The Enchanted Autumn palette is so pretty. Like, this whole artwork is so cool, and then the insides are a grungy autumnal dream. I love all these like dark jewel tones. It is so pretty, very much that dusty kind of grungy aesthetic that I love. So many beautiful metallics. They are so rich on the lids and they just look so incredibly beautiful. And then these mattes are so lovely. Again, a mustard makes me so thrilled. I love this shade of blue, the green. It is so, so pretty, and I'm so happy for Amanda. This is such a cool addition of Fantasy Cosmetica's lineup as well. I feel like it fits in so well with the other palettes while standing very well on its own. It is so, so, so cool, and I could not be happier for them. And again, it was tough for me to reorder 3, 4, and 5 in this video, but I think the next palette's just snuck by just a teeny bit more, but I am so happy with this one. Congratulations, Amanda. Moving on to number 4, I'm giving to the Gargoyle palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. Love a spooky theme. Give me all the fall and Halloween launches, please and thank you. This is so cool. I love Unearthly's formulas. Their palettes are so fun, especially over the last year. I feel like they've really grown so much. I feel like their themes and just their layouts and their formulas have gotten so, so good. So I'm really happy to have a new addition in my collection. The Gargoyle is such a treat. Again, we have kind of this dingy, muted sort of vibe. It is so, so, so cool. The shimmers are so just smooth metallic on the lids. They are so incredibly beautiful, and all these different mattes. I love that pretty much no matter what you do, you're gonna get kind of that muted, grungy sort of vibe, which I personally love. And you could definitely incorporate a little bit of neutral if you're someone who needs some neutrals in there. And I'm not even mad at these neutrals because all 3 of these shimmers aren't like super neutral heavy in my opinion. They have some shifts and sparkles. This is a very lovely kind of teddy bear, grungy brown. The other 2 I could probably live without, not gonna lie, but everything else just makes me really happy. I'm super excited about this formula. I felt really cool and pretty playing with this palette and creating looks with it. I love the theme. This one makes me so thrilled. And now, moving on to number 3, I decided to give it to the Underland palette from Ensley Reign. I'm actually wearing this palette today. I've been having a lot of fun with it. This is a cool palette. It's definitely kind of a spooky, twisted take on Alice in Wonderland. It's a very cool color story. Again, how many times can I say grungy in this video? But it definitely captures that grungy energy. I love these colors together. Seeing these 3 mattes next to each other fills me with a lot of joy. There are so many cool tones happening. I love all these shimmers. They have so many pretty shifts, or they have a really nice metallic nature. They are just outstanding. I'm so super into it. I've had a lot of fun creating looks with this palette. This is definitely one of my top favorites from the brand now. I just think it's such a cool color story. I love the size of it. It's bigger than their most recent Flourish and Flutter, which were I think 10 pans. This one's 15, but it's not as massive as some of their previous palettes. So really happy just with this overall like aesthetic, the color story itself, the sizing. It's just wonderful. I'm a big, big fan of this one. Moving on to the top 2, the ultimate favorites of this video. Number 2 is going to be the Poison Garden palette from Beaute Bar. I am so excited, and literally, as I sat down to film this, they just revealed their next palette, the Vamp, which I'm so excited about. So stay tuned. I will be playing with that one ASAP. It is absolutely stunning, but for now, we have the Poison Garden, which is so freaking fun. It is such a cool theme. I love this spooky poisonous plant kind of vibe. It is so cool. Beaute Bar has one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas. I just love the mattes. They're so rich and pigmented and creamy buttery, and they're just so wonderful to work with, and their shimmers are everything. They're so sparkly and smooth and metallic and shifty and just all of the wonderful things that I want in a shimmer shadow. This is such a cool palette. I love all the depth and darkness and grungy tones. It is just so, so fun. I'm so thrilled with this. This one's also probably a new top favorite from the brand. It is absolutely incredible. I adore it. This is such a hit. I'm so happy this exists. I'm so happy I have it. And I'm very excited to dive into their next one, the Vamp. So again, stay tuned for that. very much looking forward to it. And listen, I hear ya. I get asked fairly frequently, Betty Jean, when are you gonna do a Bella Beauty Bar palette ranking? Because I do brand palette rankings fairly often and I haven't done Bella Beauty Bar yet. I just don't want to. I've thought about it a couple times, but then when I go to make a list, it like physically pains me to put something in the bottom. So I just haven't yet. I will at some point, I just don't want to yet. Eventually I will though, I promise you. And finally, last but not least, ranked number 1. I don't think this is gonna surprise anyone. I fell so in love with it from the moment I saw it. This is one of my top favorite brands for eyeshadow of all time. And I'm just obsessed with this one. It is the new Undergrowth palette from Cosmic Brushes. I am so excited about this. This is a fall dream. If you are into fall, you would love this. I just love the combination of the murky greens with the vibrant yellows, the rusty oranges. It is so good. Their mattes are so easy to work with. They're so smooth and blendable, and I feel like very beginner friendly as well. And their shimmers are just so gorgeous. They are that smooth metallic on the lids. Some beautiful multi-chromes are throughout this. This is such a winner, such a star of the show. I love the theme. I mentioned in my recent 3 looks, 3 palettes video, but I really need to at some point do like a video all about my grungy garden themed palettes, because this is definitely one of them as well, with all of the murky grungy garden themes and tones going on in here. It is very, very cool. I'm so happy with this one. This was a no-brainer first place palette for me. I love this. It's one of my favorite palettes I've tried this entire year. I think it is absolutely stunning. One of my top favorites from the brand. The Muse might still be first place for me from this brand, but this is definitely up there. I'll also do a Cosmic Brushes palette ranking at some point. I just don't think I have enough palettes yet. I usually try to wait until I have at least 10. Do I have 10 yet? Yeah, this is only my 8th one from the brand, so I just don't feel like I have enough to dedicate a full palette ranking. So in the future, I definitely will. We're just not there yet, but this is such a cutie. I'm so in love, so impressed. This was a winner. And that, my friends, is the end of this recent ranking my last 10 palettes. I had so much fun playing with all of these. There are some major hits in here, some that I can definitely see being in the top of my 2024 palette ranking at the end of the year. Some good stuff is existing right now and I just love to see it. I'm excited to see what else is to come. There's just always good things on the horizon and it is so much fun. But as a reminder, don't feel pressured to buy everything. You don't need to buy everything. You don't need to keep up. Part of my job is to test things out to help you make decisions on what you're trying to buy for yourself if you want to buy anything. Or maybe these just help give you inspo to shop your own stash, because that's always fun too. But if you are interested in any of these palettes, I would love to know, do you have any of these already? Do you want any of these? What do you think about my ranking? Do you agree with me? Do we have a similar style and taste and preferences? Would you have ranked these differently? I would love to know. If you made it to the end of this video, leave your last 10 most recently used emojis. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Helps my channel out a lot. And if you're not already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm BATTYBEAN there as well. Also, if you want to, you can subscribe. I'm posting most days over here. And you can join my channel memberships. Link to sign up will be down below. You'll get fun little perks, including a members only video once a month. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.